Hello all, and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I am pretty excited to be doing because it's been a while since I've ran across a really interesting beer, and this one, it's really interesting. This is Lagunitas, a little something ale, little something ale, and what style is it? Well, technically it's an American wheat style, but honestly, it's pretty much in a style by itself. I would basically call it an Imperial India Pale Wheat, maybe. So basically, it's a very amped up wheat style at 7.5 ABV, so it's pretty malt heavy, and it's also got quite a bit of hopping to go and back that sort of wheat malt. So it's got a lot of that New World hops in there, but not enough to distract it from the usual notes that you're looking for in wheat. So let's read the label, shall we? So we're all on collective disability. That's cool. Let's put some ice on it and keep ourselves elevated for a while. So what's on the tube? Honey, get me a beer from the fridge, will ya, sweetie? Please? Okay, I guess it doesn't really explain the beer all that much. In fact, I had to go and look it up on the internet to go and see what style it was, because I could not guess it for myself. It does have information here. 64.20 IBU, original gravity 1.076, and of course alcohol 7.5 by volume. So yeah, this will get you pretty wicked slams, let me tell you. I'm going to be using a Hefeweizen glass and doing a very vigorous pour. Want a big head off of this one. There we go. Clear, so it doesn't look like it's been bottle conditioned. Pretty much a wheat color, maybe a little slightly darker than a wheat color, slightly dark yellow as opposed to bright yellow. Thick white head, as you can see here, very well carbonated. When you smell that head, it's just very interesting. You got those funky yeast notes that you get from wheat, but also there's a lot of hops in there. You know, you got that New World citrus sort of hops, sort of pine needles, a little bit of skunk in there. It's just very interesting. You also got that sort of orange juiciness that wheat malts lend to a beer. It feels thicker on the mouth, but on the palate, so basically you can tell it's a little bit more viscous than your average wheat beer. But when it registers a palate, it doesn't taste more viscous than your average wheat beer. It still tastes light, as a wheat beer should, on the palate. Orange juice, that sort of orange juice taste that you get with the good wheat beer, that sort of segues into the grapefruit rind and bitterness of the higher hopping, the higher New World hopping. It's a very interesting sort of combination there. This is very drinkable. It is dangerously drinkable at 7.5 ABV. What I just love is that perfect interplay in between the wheat malts and the hopping. And let me get this straight to you. It's by no means a hop bomb. you distinctly have those New World hops there, but it is not incredibly amped up. It's just perfect balance in between the malts and the hopping. So much so that the wheat aspects just segue perfectly into that sort of heavier malting. And you know, you have that nice clean dry finish. And you still have those funky wheat notes. You know, and this is sorry about the camera being so funky today. But this is what so amazes me about this beer, is how well crafted it is, and the obvious amount of difficulty that sort of went into creating this. One, because it is very difficult to craft a high gravity wheat beer. That is because it takes a lot more wheat. Wheat has less carbohydrates in it than barley does, so you gotta use a lot more wheat. And wheat is a lot more fussy when fermenting. So, higher the gravity, the more fussy it is, the more wheat you gotta use. Lots of things going on in the boil that can go wrong. Then you add in the difficulty of hopping. I have to say, it probably took a lot of experimentation to find the right combination of New World hops to go and put into a wheat ale where it would not taste off and it would not overwhelm the taste of the wheat and the taste of the yeast. So, you know, you have these two very difficult things going in there, which is why I think this is such a unique beer, because of, you know, when you understand how, you know, how different types of beer are made, the intense amount of difficulty that had to go into developing this, and still come out with this incredibly, you know, well-crafted, balanced, and interesting and drinkable product. So, even though I was underwhelmed by Lagunitas' IPA, I'm starting to see why so many people rave about this brewery, because this is the first really out-of-the-park moment that I've had in months regarding beer. Did I mention it's not very expensive either? This was under $10 for the 6-pack. Well, probably a little bit over when you add in the tax and the bottle cost and whatnot here in Hawaii. But yeah, 7.5 ABV, well-crafted quality. We're not going to get much better than that. So, Lagunitas, little something something ale. You know what? You have to go and try this. This is definitely a must try. Get your hands on this and drink it. The only reason I could see why someone might not want to go and try this is A, you don't like wheat ales, 2, you don't like IPAs, you know, that sort of heavy hopping. Other than that, this is just a beer in a class of its own, quite literally. Unless you want to go and suggest something that might be like it, and I'll see if I can try it. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.